Right. Well, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning to you all. Today's webinar is looking at One Medicine and education. I'm Rachel Jackson, and I'm the school's education manager at Humanimal Trust, which was a new role set up about 18 months ago. And it's great what I get to do. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this role and how it fits in with Humanimal Trust and what we're doing going forward. So, what is One Medicine? I think that picture says it all. We're looking at the advances in human and animal medicine and how they could be achieved both more quickly, more cost effectively by doctors, vets, and other professionals sharing what they learn and what they know. So the times when, excuse me, somebody as a human may be able to have some specific type of surgery or some particular medication, which is available for humans and maybe not for animals. Whereas actually, if we have this collaboration, we can really make a difference for them because we could save more lives of patients of all species than if these branches of medicine don't work together. And we can all help make that happen. So this can happen at the level of the medics, students as they come through learning about One Medicine, younger students, pupils, if you're going into the lower school. You know, we can all make this happen from lots of different fronts. And this is why education is key to One Medicine going forward, because it makes so much sense. The more people know about it, actually, the more that we can work together to do that. So a brief look at our charitable activities, which fit into the I care. And we know that we all care about other humans and animals. So we've looked at what we're trying to achieve, but actually, what is it we're going to do? So as the evidence for One Medicine grows, we continue to share knowledge to inform better legislation. So having the laws and information in there that practice can change. So that's where influence comes in. Collaboration, working together is key. So increase that collaboration between the medical and veterinary professionals so that value is gained for all species and minimize delays in progress. Awareness, which is part of what we're doing with these webinars, increase public, professional and political awareness of what One Medicine is, understanding what it is, and then accepting it. The research aspect, to improve and accelerate the growing understanding of the complex interactions between human and animal characteristics, the similarities between them and how these give us different opportunities for all species. And the education, which is what we're focusing on today. We aim to inspire everyone to take the One Medicine message forward as a vision for hope for future generations. We can inspire everyone to take this message forward for the benefit of everyone. So if we look at this, what if we could educate the budding doctors, vets, researchers, and the other allied professionals early on so that they understand what One Medicine is before they even become doctors, vets, researchers. So that understanding is already there. At an event that we held last September at Blenheim Palace, we had 2 days where I was teaching some local school students that came in. Some were junior age, some were secondary age. And over the weekend, we had an open event at their Autumn Fest where members of the public could come with, and obviously these were families. Now, I met two youngsters there who wanted to be vets when they grew up. So we chatted about what One Medicine is at the craft table in the Humanimal Trust tent while they were busy making bee bookmarks and colouring in. Now, these students are our future. They're the ones that can take One Medicine forward as they grow up, and it becomes part of what they understand from a young age. So, as a teacher for over 25 years, I appreciate how important it is that we encourage and guide our future generations. They are our future. With their understanding, we can take this through. And we have so many ways that we're able to educate our future medics and build on the wonderful foundations already in place at Humanimal Trust. And it isn't just about educating our youngsters, it's taking it through from that young age through to our public events, so the more non-formal events where we meet members of the public who will be of all ages. But everybody is important. Everybody has a role to take One Medicine forward. One part of this has been the Creative Awards. So last year in February, we launched our first Creative Awards. And the theme last year was simply connections. The age groups that were able to take part were 7 to 18 years. And we had amazing entries. We had 113, which was fabulous for our first year. And the entrants could choose any medium. So being creative, it was writing, drawing, poetry, painting, any creative medium that they wanted to include. And what really astounded us was where the entries came from. They came from all over the world. So we had entries from the UK, we had Austria, Korea, Canada, United Arab Emirates, all over, which was fabulous because it shows how well spread our message was. And what I wanted to do now was actually just show you a couple of last year's entries. So this was an entry by a young lady called Rachel. She was in our 15 to 16 age group, so not the very top age group, the one slightly down. And she titled this Saved. Now, Rachel specifically chose a dog for this painting as she wanted everyone to imagine their own pets in this situation, like the thousands of animals that there are every day. And in her piece, she used a fireman to symbolise organisations such as Humanimal Trust, who strive to save lives, to symbolise the kindness of humans, and to symbolise the beautiful connections we share with our animals. So while we look at this picture, there's all this symbolism, this thought that went into this, which we thought was lovely. An entry from our 17 to 18 year group. So I will struggle to say this. Cipher number 4 is a group of small, usually transparent creatures in the sea. And it's a symbol of connectivity that Daniel wanted to paint, as if it was the Northern Lights, to show the connections between human and aquatic life as well. So there's a figure shown restoring a coral reef and the connection of humans and animals that this all makes, because it's sometimes easy to forget the effect that we have on aquatic life and what is happening there. But all life is interconnected. And the colours and the connections that are shown in this painting were fabulous. Now, this was an entry in our lower age group, the 7 to 11, so your junior age group. And this was from Marcus. And actually, I don't think this picture needs much explanation. when you've got this young boy here looking very sad, looking into a pool where he's smiling, surrounded by all these awesome animals. So this is the level of expertise and information that our youngsters were creating last year. So we also have creative awards this year, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So also looking at what else we've been doing. So last year, Royal Latin School, which is based in Buckinghamshire, kindly invited us to go and teach their medical society group, which is a group of students who want to be doctors, vets, dentists, and other medical professionals. Now, these were predominantly lower six students. This is an extracurricular group, but we also had a couple of students who came from lower years who were really interested in becoming medics as well. So it was a really mixed group. Now, originally, this was going to be 6 half-hour sessions. But actually, what ended up happening was I went for 2 full afternoons. And they were a great group. They took in what I was teaching them about one medicine, how it would benefit their learning, and also how it would help them in their future studies as well. This has now morphed into a scheme of 11 lessons that's aimed at lower and upper six students, teaching about our key areas of study, but in a fun and interesting way. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a sneaky peek at what these lessons consist of, and these will be available to download shortly. So these lessons, the first one is giving them background, a little bit about Humanimal Trust and what One Medicine is, a little bit of an overview of our activities and why One Medicine is so important going forward. Now, this first lesson, what I've actually done is I've recorded this as well, because it's quite a detailed lesson. And our teachers are busy. And I thought this would be a great way of giving them an option of learning about it and not having to go into all the detail themselves. Lesson 2 was one of my favourites. This was a great lesson, comparative anatomy. So looking at the similarities between human animals and canines, because as well as being a teacher for 25 years, I'm now a veterinary physiotherapist. So I give physiotherapy treatments to predominantly dogs, but also horses. I can work with cats, work with rabbits, guinea pigs, which is great. So I love anatomy. So I really enjoyed talking about human anatomy, canine anatomy, how and where the bones are in our hands and comparing them to the dog's paw. And then also looking at first aid kits. What's good in a human first aid kit, canine first aid kit, where some of these items overlap, as well as those medications that we shouldn't be sharing with our animals. So I really enjoyed that lesson. Again, 3, looking at the musculoskeletal system and joint replacements in humans and animals. So what joint replacements are, why people and animals need them, and how they're similar, and how looking at naturally occurring disease in dogs can benefit our information for humans as well. And many of the dogs that I work with, predominantly hip replacements because of hip dysplasia, but sometimes wear and tear as well. Number 4 was looking at the 3 R's. So reduce, replace, and refine. Looking at when we should have these, how actually we should have a 4th R, which is reciprocity, that passing of information backwards and forwards. Osteosarcoma is common disease within animals. They have a 10 times higher incidence than humans, but also humans have it. So what we can learn from each other again. Pain, how pain works, what its process is. Lesson 7, teaching children and young students about this topic, and also how we need to make a change in the use of our frontline medications to fight infections, such as antibiotics. Lesson 8 was great. So one thing that our students need to be able to do, and we do as adults, is to be able to talk about a variety of things and put arguments forwards. So the students in this case were asked to debate with each other on 2 different topics, and it increases learning. It's interesting. It's a way of getting their logical thinking in. Number 9, these students were looking at applying for university very soon. So we looked at what they can do to help build their confidence in this process, a little bit of a practice. Number 10, write an assembly. And number 11, a call to action, what they could do. So this is a series of lessons that we now have that we can use and alter. And these are very much aimed at that higher level of education, further education. And this is what it looks like. This is the first page of it. So structure and organisation within the national curriculum. So the learning objectives, learning outcomes are very important for the teachers so that they know that they're covering everything that they need to within the curriculum, the resources they need, keywords. And on this page, the national curriculum links. And then it's set out as a lesson for them to take forward. So what else? Well, we've joined forces with the founder and author, Christopher Lloyd, at What on Earth Books. He'd written this book and we came across it, also named Humanimal. And the title says it all, incredible ways that animals are just like us. And this book is brilliant. We now have our own copies with our details on the dust cover. You can see in the top left corner. And these are available to buy now. And this is a great book for your 7 to 11 age group to look at how animals are just like us in the behaviour and emotional side of things. I've created some short fun activities to go alongside with this book. So a few things that children and youngsters can do after reading the book, how they can take their learning forward as well. Because the beauty of children is once you ignite their interest, they really just want to learn more. Next, there will be a short scheme of work linked with the national curriculum, which is in process now. And I started with a lesson about bees. Bees are in Humanimal book, but also when we attended Blenheim Palace during the Autumn Fest, there was the opportunity for Humanimal Trust to meet the public and talk to them about more medicine. But the 2 days before, as I mentioned, 3 local schools each day visited for a series of lessons, drama and gardening. And I chose to teach the year 6s, which is the top juniors, about bees. So our lesson was looking at what they do, who they are, how important they are for us, and how we can help the bees now, that degree of reciprocity, giving back to them. And they had a great time. And I enjoyed teaching about this as well. On the Friday, we had a group of year 9 students. And as they were older, their secondary age, I taught them a lesson on viruses, antibiotics, And then we had a little bit of fun creativity. They got to make an origami antibody, which was great fun for everyone. So this is just one of the slides used in the lessons of the year sixes. And actually what I was really impressed with was actually some of them knew a surprising amount about bees. So the fact that 1/3 of all the food we eat each day comes from pollination, not just from bees, but from other insects, and how important they are for us. And actually also for many different reasons, around 1 in 10 of Europe's native bee populations are in danger of extinction. So this is the basis of the lesson, and this is what they created. So the practical part of the lesson was they had chance to discuss with each other and myself what they'd learned, and they got to make their very own bee bookmarks. So these ones hadn't had the faces put on yet, but we had our fabulous bee bookmarks. And it's something that will remind them when they use the bookmark about the lesson, about what they learned, and about what bees do for us. So creativity is an important part of learning. Now, this was the rest of the team. So on the Saturday and Sunday, we had the whole tent as part of Autumn Fest, and we got to meet members of the public and their families. So we were joined by the rest of our fabulous team, our volunteers as well. And you may notice in the middle, we've got Professor Fitzpatrick there, and also Chris Lloyd, who is the author of Humanimal book. He came and kindly joined us and gave some of his presentations to the groups based on what's in his book. So it was a great time. We're a great team, and this was a great way of getting the One Medicine information across. Professor Fitzpatrick gave a talk on the stage. It was beautifully set out, and we got so many people signing our pledge, which was brilliant. So that's some of the things that we've done. Let's look at what's next going forward. So we now have Creative Awards 2024. They've been launched. So linked with this being our 10th year anniversary, we decided a great theme for this year was Time to Connect. Based on information from last year as well, we've made a couple of little changes. So we've changed the age categories. Because last year, some communications we had was actually that some of our adult supporters would have liked the opportunity to join in as well. So this year, we've swapped around the age categories. We've got a 7 to 9 age category, which is year 3 and year 4. And we've split that because there's a real big difference between the 7 to 11. So we've got a 7 to 9, a 10 to 11 age group, 12 to 15, and then we've got 16 to adult. So anyone 16 upwards is very welcome to join. So the details are on our website. If you'd like to go and join, we would love you to do so. We've already had some fabulous entries, and we're hoping to beat last year's 113 entries. I'm in the process of writing some further lessons based on Humanimal book for reading time and literacy. Now, these can be used not only in schools, but also at home. So it isn't just based on school education. When we have books, books are awesome for learning. I love reading. And actually spending time reading with children is a great way of encouraging their reading, and having that reading time, even when they're able to read, is great for that cooperative learning and them learning new words. So these resources can be used actually at home as well as prompts for discussions and further learning, because we have a massive number of children who are home educated now as well. So they can access this too. And that's what I've just said. Lessons and fun activities suitable for use in schools, but also homeschoolers. Also looking at children in hospital who maybe not be able to access the full curriculum. This is a great way of adding to their learning. And with other special groups of different age ranges. Included in this, talks and teaching sessions within schools. So taking the lessons we've already got, taking the talks. We've got a great group of volunteers who go out into the wider audiences, who've for years and years given talks to groups who contact us and say, we'd like to learn a little bit more. So also adding these in within the schools. Creating a One Medicine curriculum. So this is aiming for starting with young children. So obviously the messaging's got to be a little bit simpler, but going through to university and beyond, because education is key. And Eva, who is our research management consultant, is going to talk to you about the higher education activities as well.
Thank you, Rachel. I'll need a little bit of help with the slides, please. If I can ask you to move on to the next slide, please. So in terms of the higher educational activities, we have created what we call a One Medicine Society. So as I'm sure a lot of you would be aware, lots of universities will have students as part of various societies which contribute to their interests. So as part of that, we've obviously realized that the students of today, we want to influence them and want them to be engaged with what we're trying to achieve. They are, after all, our future. So we have created a special charter, a template, which we are happy to share with everybody. So the student society can be registered with the relevant student union body within the university. And the societies are really intended to be for medical students, veterinary students, nursing students, also allied healthcare professionals, and can be really at any university and for any students who are interested in being part of this. We're currently doing a pilot of One Medicine chapter at the University of Edinburgh, where obviously they got veterinary school as well as medical school, which does make it a perfect location for One Medicine Society. And we also hoping to build up a network of international partners. So we welcome also institutions from outside of the UK. Can I ask for the next slide, please, Rachel? And one important thing as well that obviously we realized that during the university when people are doing their dissertation, whether it's for undergraduate or postgraduate students, it would be great if through the One Medicine Society, students could actually engage together and start creating projects around One Medicine. It can include literature reviews as well. And we've had our first call advertised for support of up to £5,000 to develop those sort of collaborations and the future ideas for research. We hope to have those calls out twice a year, so students can apply whenever they are ready to start doing their dissertation or whenever they're thinking about actually doing what projects they're going to be doing. This covers some consumables and can be also used as match funding if the students already have support from other organizations. The next slide, please. And one of the other part of things that we're trying to create is the collaboration platform, which is the Humanimal Trust. And students, as well as other professionals, can sign up to the hub and actually have additional resources that we're going to be sharing on there for both the One Medicine societies and hopefully also some of the curriculums that Rachel mentioned. And it's a great way really to interact with other like-minded people. There's various articles that are being posted frequently on the hub. There are groups. with specific interests around specific disease areas, but also the ethical implication of one medicines that can be discussed on there. So it's a great way to really join with like-minded people. So I shall now hand over back to Rachel to finish off with the rest of the presentation. Over to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Eva. That was great. It just really shows sort of the different levels that we're working with within education. Because as I've already mentioned, education covers information for everyone. It isn't just sort of the formal education within schools, colleges, universities. This is actually going forward for everyone. And if you have any questions about education, then please do pop them into us. We're quite happy to answer. Or if you're interested in having anything such as a talk or one of us come in and do a teaching session, then we'd love to hear from you. Because the more we spread this message, the more that we're going to have one medicine for the future. Because this is what we want to see in the future. That human and animal health have clearly improved as a result of one medicine. That one medicine is widely understood and embraced. That this collaboration between human and animal medicine working together is the norm. Now, we know that everybody is busy, but actually the more we can collaborate, it actually sparks such great thought processes and can really benefit everybody. So if we can work together, that would make such a difference for everyone and for our future learning. And that there's enough funding. Eva's just talked about some of the funding that's available for research, but we need funding and a legal framework to support human and animal medicine working together. That collaboration should be seen as the norm, and that's what we're aiming for. And that there's no scientific need nor legal requirement for laboratory animal testing. So, one medicine for humans and animals. This is our vision of hope, that collaboration, our hand in paw. And actually, you can all help make it happen. Whether that's signing the pledge, whether it's sharing information, whether it's discussing one medicine, we can all do something. So, thank you for listening to Education and Humanimal Trust. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I will just go to stop share so that we can see each other a little bit better. There we go.
You can type your questions into the chat, and Sarah has also helpfully shared, if you don't want to obviously be asking any questions today or think of any questions after we finish the session, Sarah has helpfully shared with everybody also our info email where you can drop your questions should you have any.
Absolutely, because if you're anything like me, I'd take away process and then think, oh, I wish I'd thought to ask about. So please do. And also if you're watching this sort of later, if you're catching up,